Hallo, ich bin's, Robin, Deutschlehrer mit Core Languages, and today I'm in my backyard and I have a question for you. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and ordered the same thing over and over every time you're there because you know what you like and you know it's going to be good? Or have you ever gone to a restaurant and ordered a completely new dish because you want to try something new, something that you haven't had before? Now, what do those two scenarios have in common? One, they both use the verb to order. In German, bestellen. Now, we'll get back to that, so let's put a pin in that. The other thing those two scenarios have in common is they both use, you guessed it, the present perfect. Now, before you think to yourself, another present perfect video, hear me out. Remember we had a video about the present perfect and separable prefix verbs. Verbs that have a prefix that separates and moves to the end of the sentence. Well, the present perfect forms differently for verbs that have a prefix that doesn't separate, such as bestellen, to order. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to form the present perfect with inseparable prefix verbs so that you can incorporate them into your German sentences. I would say los geht's und viel Spaß beim Deutschlernen.
Inseparable prefix verbs in the present perfect. Inseparable prefix verbs, or nicht trennbare Verben, are verbs that have a prefix attached to the stem or the root of the verb. Adding the prefix changes the meaning of the stem slightly. For example, the verb schlafen means to sleep. Adding the prefix ver to make the verb verschlafen changes the meaning from to sleep to oversleep. Common inseparable prefixes are be, emp, ent, er, ge, hinter, miss, ver, wieder, and zer. The present perfect is typically formed by adding the syllable ge. Inseparable prefix verbs do not use ge to form the past participle. Here are some examples. Ich habe verschlafen. I have overslept. Wir sind dem Bösewicht entkommen. We have gotten away from the villain. Die Kellnerin hat den Fisch empfohlen. The waitress has recommended the fish. None of the past participles here, verschlafen, entkommen, empfohlen, use ge. Adding an inseparable prefix to a verb changes the meaning of the stem or the root verb slightly, but it isn't always possible to deduce the new meaning because some of these prefixes are impossible to translate by themselves. For example, the prefix be. Be doesn't really have a direct translation, but we know that it makes verbs directly transitive, or it makes them require a direct object. The prefix emp doesn't have a clear meaning or translation. Ent, on the other hand, is used to express begin, remove, or reverse. Er is used for a completed action. Ge has no translation or no clear meaning. Hinter means behind. Miss means wrong. For example, misunderstand, missverstehen. Ver has many definitions. Wieder means against or back. Zer is used to express breaking something into pieces. One way of differentiating between different verbs in German is regular verbs, irregular verbs, and mixed verbs. Regular verbs typically form the past participle by adding the syllable ge and the ending t to their past participle. The present perfect is usually formed with the subject, either haben or sein, and the past participle. Most regular verbs use the helping verb haben. An inseparable prefix verb can be a regular verb. The difference is, because it has an inseparable prefix, it does not use ge to form the past participle. For example, or zum Beispiel, zerstören. Stören is a regular verb. Zerstören is a regular verb with an inseparable prefix, zer. Zerstören means to destroy. The past participle of zerstören is zerstört. Der Junge hat die Fernbedienung zerstört. The boy has destroyed the TV remote. An inseparable prefix verb can also be irregular. Irregular verbs form their past participle with the ending en and not with the ending t. Again, to form the present perfect, we need a subject, haben or sein, and the past participle. An example of an irregular, inseparable prefix verb is verstehen, to understand. Stehen is an irregular verb. Verstehen is an irregular verb with the inseparable prefix ver. The participle of verstehen is verstanden. Das Baby hat mich nicht verstanden. The baby didn't understand me, or literally translated, the baby hasn't understood me. An inseparable prefix verb can also be a mixed verb. A mixed verb is a verb that has a spelling or stem vowel change when conjugated in the different tenses, which it has in common with irregular verbs. But instead of adding en to the end of its past participle, like an irregular verb, it adds t, like a regular verb, which is what it has in common with regular verbs. Hence the term mixed verb. An example of a mixed verb with an inseparable prefix is erkennen, to recognize. The past participle of erkennen is erkannt. Wir haben unsere Nachbarin auf dem Bus erkannt. We have recognized our neighbor on the bus. Here are some examples of inseparable prefix verbs that use haben to form the present perfect. Verarbeiten, to process. Ich habe verarbeitet. I have processed. Entspannen, to relax. Du hast dich entspannt. You have relaxed yourself. Gefallen, to like or to be to someone's liking. Es hat mir gefallen. The literal translation would be, it has been to my liking. Zerbrechen, to break or to break into pieces. Sie haben zerbrochen. You, sir, or you, ma'am, have broken into pieces. Misstrauen, to mistrust. Wir haben misstraut. We have mistrusted. Bekommen, to get or to receive. Ihr habt bekommen. You have received. Empfehlen, to recommend. Sie haben empfohlen. They have recommended. There are also inseparable prefix verbs that use the auxiliary verb sein to form the present perfect. These are mostly verbs that indicate movement from one place to another. For example, verreisen, to travel or to go on a journey. Ich bin verreist. I have traveled or I have gone on a journey. Zerfallen, to fall apart or to decay. Es ist zerfallen. It has decayed. Verlaufen can have multiple translations. One is to blend. Es ist verlaufen. Verlaufen can also become a reflexive verb. Sich verlaufen, in which case it means to get lost. Ich habe mich verlaufen. I have gotten lost. In this case, it uses haben. Entkommen, to get away. Wir sind entkommen. We have gotten away. Hintergehen, to cheat someone or to deceive someone. Ihr seid hintergangen. You have deceived or you have cheated. Zerspringen, to crack or to break. Sie sind zersprungen. They have broken or they have cracked. Let's practice. Üben wir. Look at the following two pictures and sentences and form the present perfect of gefallen, to be pleasing to, and widerstehen, to resist. Deine Wohnung, mir. The correct verb is gefallen, and the sentence goes, Deine Wohnung hat mir gefallen. Your apartment was to my liking, or your apartment was pleasing to me, or simply, I liked your apartment. Der Versuchung. The correct verb is widerstehen, and the correct sentence is, hat der Versuchung widerstanden. He has resisted the temptation. Look at this sentence and try to choose the correct participle of the verb zerbrechen, to break or to break into pieces. Ich habe den Teller zerbrochen or ich habe den Teller zerbracht. The correct participle is zerbrochen. Ich habe den Teller zerbrochen. I have broken the plate into pieces. And how about this example? Sich verfahren, to get lost by car. Wir haben uns vergefahren or verfahren. Sich verfahren is an inseparable prefix verb, so we do not use ge. The correct past participle is verfahren. Wir haben uns verfahren. We have gotten lost.
Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to form the present perfect with inseparable prefix verbs. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to comment, or if you're interested in joining one of our German courses with a live instructor, feel free to message us directly. Das war's. Vielen Dank und bis zum nächsten Mal.